Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As stated previously by Narada before Vyasadeva, Bhagavatam 1.5.20, Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaraha. This unmanifested world is the self-same personality of Godhead, but it appears to be something else beyond or besides the Lord. It appears so because of its being separated from the Lord by means of Kala. It is something like the tape-recorded voice of a person who is now separated from the voice. As the tape recording is situated on the tape, so the whole cosmic manifestation is situated on the material energy and appears separate by means of Kala. The material manifestation is therefore the objective manifestation of the Supreme Lord and exhibits His impersonal feature so much adored by impersonalist philosophers. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Maitreya is explaining about time, Kala. In this verse, he is describing Vishwam, this cosmic manifestation, this material world. What about Vishwam? Vishwam vai Brahma Tanmatram. It is same as the Supreme Lord, but it is seen as separated from the Lord. How is it separated? By Kala, time. And what is Kala? Kalena avyaktamurtina. Avyaktamurti. Murti means form or feature. Avyaktamurti is unmanifested. Avyakta, unmanifested. Unmanifested feature of the Supreme Lord, also called the impersonal feature. Impersonal feature. And it is situated as Samsthitam Vishnu Mayaya. It is situated as the objective manifestation of the Lord. Here, Mayaya, Maya means energy. And which energy of the Lord? The material energy. As you know, the Lord has two kinds of energy, spiritual and material. So the spiritual world is the spiritual energy and the material world is the material energy. So this material world is the material energy of the Lord, but it is situated as separate from the Lord because of the Kala. What does Kala do? Kala brings about changes which give us a sense of past, present and future. Only due to Kala, we consider changes like birth, old age, death, creation, destruction, the same material energy. Just like this body, you take the example of this body. The body was existing as material elements. When it is created, some portion of the material elements are taken, mixed up, and this body is generated. And after some time again, when the body is destroyed, or what we call as death occurs, then again the elements are separated. The elements are again separated. In the Bhagavad Gita, there is this verse, Avyaktadini bhutani. Second chapter, open Bhagavad Gita. See this verse. Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharata avyakta nidhananyeva tatraka paridevana. Krishna is telling what is the need to lament for any material destruction. What is this material destruction? Nidhana, death or material destruction. What is that? It is avyakta to vyakta to again avyakta. Unmanifested becomes manifested and again becomes unmanifested. Is it not? Was not body not existing as the five elements? It was existing. The same five elements, some portion has become the body. And again the same five elements will get separated when the body is destroyed. Which is the verse? 28. 2.28. Read that translation. Shravana Mangala. All created beings are unmanifested in the beginning. Interim state, they are manifest. When they are annihilated, the body. What is annihilated is the body. Spirit, soul is never annihilated. What need is there for lamentation? Arjuna is thinking, how can I kill all these people? Or what will happen if they die? So, this creation, destruction, or birth and death, all this pertains only to the material body or the material world. Spiritual world, there is neither creation nor destruction, nor any birth, nor any death. So, this feature of Kala is being described. It is the material energy of the Lord. This material world is the material energy which appears different because of this Kala. It's Kala which is acting. Constantly Kala is working. Kala is acting. This Kala is also another energy of the Lord only. Kala is another energy of the Lord. But it is impersonal. Of course, we can say Paramatma is same as Kala. But Paramatma is a manifestation of the Supreme Lord for a temporary time. The eternal Lord is always in the spiritual world. In the material world, He appears and disappears. In the material world, the Lord appears and disappears. Whereas in the spiritual world, the Lord is eternally present. Eternally present. But here also, in his feature as Brahman, energy, he is always there. Like the material energy. Material energy always is existing. But material energy sometimes is manifest as material world. Sometimes it is not manifest as material world, it is unmanifested. But material energy remains. So therefore, this material energy, which is one of the energies of the Lord, non-different from Him, non-different in what sense? The Lord is always with His energy. Always, eternally, energy is with him only. So, you cannot separate the Lord from his energy or energy from the Lord. Just like fire and heat. If there is a fire, you cannot separate the fire from the heat from the fire, heat of the fire from the fire. You cannot separate. Similarly, the heat of the fire has no existence without the fire. You cannot say there is no fire, only some heat is there. That's not possible. So similarly, the energy, specifically this material energy, is always with the Lord. Always with the Lord. Always present. And the Lord is always with his material energy. So where is the question of Lord being absent or not present? Or Lord being separate? No. He appears to be separate because of Kala. What does Kala do? Kala makes this material energy to appear and disappear in the form of this material world. Due to the effect of Kala, there is something called creation, maintenance, destruction. Due to the effect of Kala, there is birth, there is old age, there is death. All these are due to Kala, effect of Kala. But a person who understands this feature of Kala, that's why it's very important to understand this Kala. Vidura is asking Maitreya, kindly describe what is this Kala. So he is describing Kala in so many ways. Maitreya is describing Kala in so many ways. In the previous purport, we read so many different ways in which Kala can be explained. Here, the important explanation of Kala is given in terms of it being the unmanifested, impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord. Unmanifested, impersonal feature. In the purport, Prabhupada explains, this has already been stated by Narad Muni when he was instructing Vyasadeva about compiling Bhagavatam. Idam hi Vishwam, this is Narad Muni's statement. Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaro Yato Jagasthana Nirodha Sambhavaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is himself this cosmic manifestation and still he is aloof from it. Bhagavan Iva Itaraha. Bhagavan Iva means this world, Idam Vishwam, this world or this universe is the Lord. Bhagavan Iva. And Bhagavan Itaraha is different from the Lord. Simultaneously, it is God and it is not God. He also says that it is from him this cosmic manifestation has emanated, and in him it is resting, and it enters into him after everything is annihilated. That's the feature of Mahavishnu. The Lord as Mahavishnu, when he glances on this material energy, then the material energy transforms into this entire material world. Creation takes place. So from him it is emanating. And then maintenance also, as Vishnu he maintains everything. He only maintains as Kshirodakshai Vishnu. Even Garbhodakshai Vishnu also we can say. He maintains. And then as Mahavishnu, he also is a reservoir. After everything is destroyed, it goes back into him, resting on him, resting in him. So, this is the understanding of this material energy as non-different from the Lord and simultaneously different. Now, here Prabhupada explains example of the voice of a person when it is recorded on a tape. Nowadays there is no tape, but formerly this tape was there. On the tape you can record somebody's voice. And formerly they used to even record the picture also. But anyway, here the example of the voice is given by Prabhupada. That if I record my voice on a tape, when somebody hears the tape being played, then they can recognize it is my voice. It's identical with my voice. At the same time, I am not there inside the tape. I am separate from the tape. But it is my voice only. It is not anybody else's voice. Similarly, it is the Lord's energy only, this material energy or this material world. It's Lord's. But the Lord is not there. Lord is in the spiritual world. He is separate from it. So this is a very nice example. This voice of a person separated from the voice. At the same time, you cannot say it is the voice is somebody else's voice or something else. No, it is his own voice. The person's voice only. Now, the recording of the voice is situated on the tape. Without the tape, there is no possibility of the voice being recorded or being present. And in the same way, the whole cosmic manifestation is situated on the material energy of the Lord. The material energy is existing. Even though this material world is created from material energy, the energy is always existing. Even as unmanifested energy, it is existing. That is one of the items of Kshetra. If you see in the 13th chapter, what are the different elements of this Kshetra? Mahabhutanyahankaro Bhut, something like that. I think 5 and 6. 6 and 7. Okay. So read that, Shravana Mangala. 5 great elements. False ego, intelligence, the unmanifested. This is that material energy which is unmanifested. Avyakta. What is it called in Sanskrit? Avyakta. Avyakta. So this material energy always exists as unmanifested material energy, always exists. Before the creation, even when the creation has taken place and it is being maintained, and even after annihilation, it always exists. Material energy always exists as avyakta. So on that avyakta material energy only this whole creation is resting. That avyakta material energy is energy of the Lord. Energy of the Lord, always existing. This material world sometimes is manifest, sometimes is not manifest. Sometimes it is in this form, sometimes it is in the unmanifest form. So, exactly like the voice is situated on the tape, when the voice is recorded on a tape, voice is situated on the tape. Similarly, this whole cosmic manifestation is situated on the material energy and appears separate by means of Kala. It appears to be separate. What is the ingredients of this material world? It is the same material energy only. That's why the description at the time of creation, how first there is Mahat Tattva, then Mahat Tattva is transformed into false ego. False ego is transformed into the mind, intelligence, and then the elements, and then the sense objects, and so many. Then the senses, then the devatas. The whole creation in this way is simply a transformation of the material energy only. The living entities are always existing as eternal living beings, as spirit souls. They don't change. They are injected into this material energy or material world, but bewildered by the influence of this material energy or Kala or Maya. They think in terms of, I am this part of this material creation. I am born, I will die. They think like that. But actually there is no death for the living being. Neither material energy is destroyed. Material energy is not destroyed. So this we have to understand as the Supreme Lord exhibiting His impersonal feature both as Kala and the unmanifested material energy. Both. These are two features of the Supreme Lord. Kala as well as unmanifested material energy. So, this is the description of Kala as that which separates the Supreme Lord from His material energy, or makes it appear like He is separate. Actually, He is never separate. Or the energy is not separate from the Lord. It's always His energy. That's why Krishna says, Maya Dhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sucharacharam. Prakriti, material nature. See, when you say material energy, we get a different idea. When you say material nature, immediately we have to question whose nature is it? It is the God's nature, Krishna's nature. Maya, by me, Adhyakshena Prakritihi, by my superintendence, by my overseeing this entire material world or material nature is working. Suyate, it is working. Characharam, and creating all this non-moving and moving living entities and different material objects. So, this feature of the Supreme Lord as Kala and the unmanifested material energy, both should be understood as simultaneously one with and different from the Supreme Lord. The philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. The truth is always inconceivably one with and different from the Supreme Lord. The living entity also. Even we are one with the Lord and we are different from the Lord. This material world is one with the Lord and different from the Lord. But the internal energy of the Lord is identical with Him entirely. Entirely identical with Him. The internal energy, the spiritual world, identical with Him. You cannot separate. There is no effect of Kala. There is no manifestation. There is no creation. There is no destruction. There is no change. Vikara, no change. So therefore, the internal potency is identical with Him. That's why we say the Lord is absolute. Absolute means Krishna, his name, his form, his qualities, his abode, his activities, all entirely identical with him. Completely identical. 100% identical. Totally he himself. So you can never separate. So this difference between material energy and spiritual energy of the Lord. The spiritual energy is entirely, wholly identical with him. Material energy is identical and also separate from him. Appears to be separate due to the effect of Kala. Due to the effect of Kala. And this is also because the Lord wants to give a facility for the living entities who want to enjoy independent of him, or living entities who want to enjoy materially, or living entities who want to lord over the energy of the Lord. It is his, he is the boss, he is the controller. But I want to be the controller, or some living entities want to be the controllers. So for their sake, the Lord has made this arrangement. He has made this arrangement. Otherwise, there is no need for the material energy, material creation. There is no need. We are perfectly, eternally, very nicely situated in the spiritual world, in the spiritual energy. Nicely situated. But if we want to enjoy independently, if we want to lord over, if we want to be in forgetfulness of Krishna, then this is required. This material creation is required. Any questions? Huh? Unmanifested means, you understand, like this kartal, right? Before it was there as metal. That metal is melted or shaped and this kartal is formed. So we say this kartal was unmanifested before it was shaped or it was melted and cast. Now it has become manifested. Again, let us say when we give to that person who can melt this and make into something else, again he can do that. When he melts it, what happens to kartal? It becomes unmanifested. Vyakta, avyakta. Vyakta is manifested, avyakta is unmanifested. That means it exists, always exists, in one form or the other. One feature or another feature. One shape or another shape. Or one form and another form. Like that. It is in another feature. Energy is there, energy is there. But the energy is present in another feature. Just like in physics also they say, no, energy can neither be created nor destroyed nor created. It's always existing. That's exactly the understanding. In the scriptures also. Material energy, spiritual energy, always. Because it is the energy of the Lord who is eternal, that energy also is eternal. It is his energy, so it's eternal there. But it appears like it is temporary. When we read about the creation, maintenance, destruction, then it appears like it is temporary. It is not temporary. The manifestation is temporary. The shape in which this material world is seen, that is temporary. That's why our philosophy is this material world is real. Real but temporary. But the Mayavadis, their philosophy is this material world is not real. They say this material world doesn't exist. It exists. Material world always exists in different form, in different shape, in different feature. Avyakta, vyakta, avyakta. Any other question? Yeah. Divya, the Dhruva. Huh. See, ultimately, energy can never be independently working. Energy can never be independently working. So energy always works under the control or superintendence of a person. Anything impersonal can never be independently impersonal. Not possible. Always there's a person above everything impersonal. Now the impersonal feature itself, as far as the Lord is concerned, nothing is impersonal. Like in the spiritual world, there is nothing impersonal in the spiritual world. Everyone and everything is a person. Land is a person. The objects in the spiritual world are persons. So, only in the material world, everything that is a person is appearing like something impersonal. There is eternal time in the spiritual world. There is time in the spiritual world. But in the material world, that time appears as something which is changing, something which is causing deterioration, something which destroys, kalos mi loka kshayakrit. So, impersonal is the material manifestation only, that's all. But otherwise, always person, always spiritual. Spiritual means person. Nothing spiritual is ever impersonal. Nothing spiritual is impersonal. Person. Like we are persons as spirit soul. The spiritual world is person. The spiritual objects, person. So it's difficult for us to conceive how can an object be a person. This table as a person, we can't imagine, we can't conceive. Land as the person, we can't conceive. Just like we go to Vrindavan, we pay obeisances to the land of Vrindavan, dust of Vrindavan. So, generally, paying obeisances means pay obeisance to a person. But that dust is person, the land is person. Yamuna, Ganga, we pay obeisances. River Ganga. Some people think foolish people. Why they have to bow down to some water which is flowing? Some river, why they have to bow down? So they think they are all sentimental people. No, that is a person. That's a person. So that's difficult to. Like Bhishma, he married Ganga Devi. He married Ganga Devi. Krishna married Yamuna. Krishna married Yamuna as one of the queens. Huh? What is that? Huh? I'm sorry. Bhishma is son of Ganga. Shantanu married Ganga Devi. I'm sorry. Bhishma's father. Ganga Devi was the mother of Bhishma. So, the understanding of person is different in this world and different in the spiritual world. Spiritual world, there are only persons. Only persons. It's inconceivable. How can there only be persons? No objects. But that is the spiritual world. Material world, there are persons who also think person, but actually they really don't understand what is personality. Because we think in terms of the body, and the body is not the person. Body is not the real person. So that duality exists in the material world. Person, impersonal. But in the spiritual world, there is no impersonal, only person. Like even when Krishna comes to this world, Krishna was entering the wrestling arena of Kamsa for the Dhanur Yajna. Now, the devotees are seeing Krishna as person Krishna. The impersonalists, how are they seeing Krishna? As Brahman effulgence. Impersonal. You can understand how the impersonalists are seeing Krishna as impersonal Brahman. Devotees never see Krishna as impersonal Brahman. Never. They always see Krishna as person Krishna. Krishna is identical with his effulgence. You cannot separate effulgence from Krishna. You cannot separate Krishna from his effulgence. Krishna will always be with his effulgence. The sun and sunshine. Actually, it is sun God. When you say sun, actually it is sun God. Sun God, you cannot separate his effulgence from him. You cannot. So sun and sunshine cannot be separated. Similarly, Krishna and his effulgence, Brahman effulgence, cannot be separated. But the devotees will always see Krishna as the person Krishna. Impersonal will always see Krishna as Brahman effulgence. That's why that prayer in the Ishopanishad, my dear Lord, please remove your effulgence so that I can see your beautiful face. That beautiful face is covering, the effulgence is covering your beautiful face, your form. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham tattvam pushan apavruno satyadharmaya drishtaye. So that your devotee can see you. Your faithful devotee, your truthful devotee can see you. Sincere devotee can see you. Apavrunu, you remove. That effulgence that is covering your face. So this impersonal, personal, we have to study and properly understand. I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.